Advent Devotion, the Do-It-Yourself Kit for the Christmas Crib. This is Lisa Davis. December 4th, Cobwebs. Clean the cobwebs from your spiritual crib. Diligently remove from your heart every inordinate desire of being praised. Renew this intention at least 3 times today. My Jesus, I want to please you in all I do today. Nota bene. I think everyone wants, in fact, I think most of us perhaps unconsciously believe we have a right to be praised by others for the work we do, and to be recognized in general for our virtues and accomplishments. This craving for praise is a common human failing, the threads of it starting in the pit of our fallen human nature and extending to all the far-reaching corners of our vanity and insecurity. All threads fastened into cobwebs by our deficiencies in faith and trust in God's justice. The whole web, of course, is spun by the poisonous spider, pride, the downfall of our first parents, and the devil's favorite minion. It's a virtue to commend others, of course, and in our humility to give credit where it's due to others, remembering that God is the author of all good and that His reward is the final goal. It's a trick, however, to accept this praise from others humbly and graciously, but not to seek it. In quote after quote from the saints and in the words of our Lord Himself in Scriptures, we're reminded of the dangers of one of the offshoots of pride, human respect, which is the fault of seeking the approval of man instead of God. Our Lord is very clear in the 23rd chapter of Matthew when He teaches us, quote, "Whosoever shall exalt himself shall be humbled, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." In Ecclesiasticus in the Old Testament, chapter 10, the bottom line has long been drawn, quote, "Pride is the beginning of all sin. He that holdeth it shall be filled with maledictions, and it shall ruin him in the end." The webs that cling to the walls and beams of our spiritual stables are the work of the spider of pride. Some of the threads this pride spider spins are false ambition, the inordinate desire for earthly honor; presumption, the expectation of salvation without having to do anything to deserve it; vainglory, which is an over-interest in one's reputation; and vanity, the unjustifiable high opinion of oneself in looks or person. From these vices many other faults are spun, including the desire for human praise over God's reward, and all these sticky threads tangle together to make a mess of cobwebs that we need to clean out of our spiritual stables to be ready for sweet baby Jesus on Christmas Day. How do we do this? We begin, as always, with prayer, which is the ladder needed to reach all the cobwebs. We'll also need a big broom of humility, of course, and a good eye at detecting all the hidden corners where an inclination for anyone's praise other than God's may cling. St. Basil the Great tells us, "The humble man shuns every earthly honor, reckons himself as the least of men, and though to look at he would be taken to be of little importance, yet he stands eminently high before God. When he has fulfilled all that was commanded him, he affirms that he has done nothing, and is most solicitous to conceal every virtue of his soul. But the Lord brings to light all his works, and proclaims them far and wide. He discovers his marvelous deeds to the world. He will exalt him and make him glorious, and in the hour of his prayer grant him all he shall ask." End quote. Our project for today? Brushing down cobwebs of praise grubbing, of course. But hopefully we're going after the pride spiders too. Lifelong basic upkeep, my friends, starting today. Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make our hearts like unto thine. One last thing. Check the show notes for some links to some PDF copies of the original Christmas Crib Devotion, as well as for hands-on craft projects to accompany the Christmas Crib Devotion, a day-by-day calendar, Thank you, Sheila, for that. And a link to the poem by Mary Howitt, The Spider and the Fly, which has a theme appropriate to the lesson for today.